Welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going to go on a quest for truth together. How does that sound? Sounds good to me. Welcome, everybody. And welcome to the show. We're talking about full disclosure, our favorite subject. None of this, well, we don't know quite what they are. They know what they are. Some people in the know, more than a handful, know the truth and all of the truths. So, yes, we need to get them to come clean on the whole darn deal there. Don't you think? Yes, I believe so. Thank you for stopping in. It looks like we have 3 people already here, and welcome. This is another unscheduled show. I've been wanting to do a show since the Nothing Burger report came out about the limited hangout disclosure, supposed almost Nothing Burger disclosure, where we got 9 pages, 2 of them were index pages, and certain members of Congress got 74-page expanded version of it. But even that's not going to give us what we need, friends. We need to, we need that Pandora's box to flip open and everything to come out. Rip the Band-Aid off. We're ready for the truth. Gall darn it. Anyway now, don't you think? I'm going to drop the Zoom into the, chat. How's that sound? Sounds groovy like a record, doesn't it? All right, let's see if that might work. Free range brain. Let's disclosure the truth about everything, not just UFOs. Yes, everything. Yes, you know, there's a lot of things that has been kept from us. You know, some of the stuff that's been kept from us, maybe it's a good thing because they're very devastating things to find out. Like we've heard, those who know cannot sleep. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about without mentioning it. I don't want to risk anything by saying something that will trigger something. Let's just say that. But certainly all of the UFO things need to come clean. We need to you know, this waiting for this stupid report, and in the report it goes, oh, well, it's going to be ongoing. Well, ongoing from this point forward. What about going backward to all of the things, the thousands and thousands and thousands of reports, you know, including from back in the 1800s? Maybe we could, you know, make those public. What do you think? I mean, all of the UFO reports in the 1800s, maybe we can get those out. That would be a start. But it's ridiculous. But disclosure is happening through us. Oh, there. Okay, Radx. Hi, Rad. How you doing? They said they're asking for money to put together another program. That means Lou Elizondo will be back in the government as a champion for the people. They played this well. Well, I don't think they played it very well, because you've got a public. I mean, hasn't Ancient Aliens been like a top cable TV show for a long decades, long time? Every UFO or alien movie sells out. I mean, we're ready. We're more than ready. And I was just very disappointed. I knew I was going to be disappointed. I don't want to get my hopes up too much. I did a little bit, but folks, disclosure is not going to happen through the government. It's going to happen through the people. It's going to happen through books. This, you know, And Still They Fly, Billy Meyer book. Books like this, Selected by Extraterrestrials by William Mills Tompkins, American hero. And the 300 chapter book that is going to be released shortly by Andrew D. Bishago. 300 chapters. I think it's going to be a total of like 6 books altogether, including more than just the 300 chapters. And so I'm really, really hoping that comes out. I would love to read that book. Love it, love it. Okay, free range brain, but if you disclose UFOs, everything else will follow. It's a subject that touches all the national security apparatus. Let's abolish all the soup letter agencies. Yeah. Go to open source, just like Robert David Steele has been advocating it. That was in Andy's 100 presidential proposals, was an open source CIA. Criminals in action. Oops, I said that word. That'll get me limited monetization. Okay, saying they're going to put money into a program openly is not a nothing burger. Well, it's a nothing burger to me because, you know, we're looking for full disclosure, not just a very partial disclosure that's going to take between 50 and 100 years to get all of this out. No, we need to know now. It's really holding back our whole world by the general public not knowing what has been learned, who we have made deals with, what kind of nefarious things have happened, who've been silenced to keep this secret, how many people have died to keep it secret. So, you know, we've had sightings and reports since the cavalry. Okay, the cavalry chased some gray beings into a cave and found silver discs in there. That's still top secret. Let's get that, you know, when will it be out long enough for us to be able to talk about it? Well, we're already talking about it. We know that. And yes. Okay, I'm going to share this out. And please do the same too if you want to share this out to your favorite social media platforms. And we'll get, and anyone who has any disclosure, please call in. If you have something you've witnessed, something that you have learned, something that was proven to you, or just a sighting that you had. I mean, because after you see one, no one can tell you didn't see one. It's like a forever thing now. And that's just the way it is. That is just the way it is. Okay. All right. Okay. Hollywood has been the disclosure and the disinformation. Yes, very much so. And also what I've heard from some of these whistleblowers, and, you know, is it true? I don't know. That when some extraterrestrials give us some certain technology, they give it to the people they're dealing with, the humans they're dealing with, and they say, well, we'll give this to you under one condition, that you share it with all of your people. And so they say, okay. And when they come back and say, well, you didn't share it with all your people, they say, well, yeah, we did. We made this blockbuster movie, this blockbuster fiction movie all about it. And no one was interested. They just thought, well, okay. They didn't really respond. So we gave them ample chance to take advantage of this technology, and they weren't interested. No one even asked about it. So, you know, that's another way they're nefariously using the media to run cover. Let's see. All righty then. All right. Okay, let's see. Close that. Go back over here. I'm going to check the queue. Nobody's in the queue yet. If anyone wants to call, they may. Maybe it's a good time to do one of our favorite things to do is the screenshot. It's sharing the screen. That's always fun to do, isn't it? Here's some more Billy Meyer pictures. You can see here there's 3 UFOs off way over the valley there. And also here. Now I copied these, I scanned these from that book I showed you earlier. And so there's like a little moire pattern with the print. With my scanner has different descreening, but obviously didn't really work. But it gives you a good idea. I mean, Billy Meyer has had like, he's taken thousands. Okay, these are from 1976, March 8th or 9th, 1976, and March 1976. So March. And I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, these 2 shots here are from the same sequence. And he was filming them with his movie camera, and his tripod still camera was in front of the movie camera, and then this was further in front, the UFOs. So yeah, a one-armed Swiss farmer who's filming himself taking pictures of these things off in the distance isn't faking it. You cannot fake that, okay? It's impossible. I love it when people think he's faking it, but my opinion is that he's not faking it. Here's another one from Billy Meyer. And what do you think about that? There it is. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's really near that little tree over there. And that was from 1976, March 29th, 1976. And now Billy Meyer was not the only one to get pictures of these craft. His neighbors all got pictures of them too. I mean, they were over a vast valley where other people had vantage points. They could see it. And so it's not just him getting these pictures. It's many, many people in that area. Very interesting. Very interesting, wouldn't you say? I definitely would say. Yes. Okay. I'm just going to say hey in the chat because that's not too hard to type that many letters. Hollywood has been disclosed. Yeah, this yeah, this limited hangout is really it's really quite a bummer. The only silver lining is that now perhaps news people won't be just giggling and laughing when they have these kinds of stories. That's the only real silver lining I can see, is, you know, building a little bit of an awareness, but it's going to make people want more than what they're getting from this, you know. Here's something kind of cool. Now, this is Tester's Model Kit instruction book for the S4 UFO revealed, the top secret alien spacecraft that Bob Lazar worked on. And this is a construction book, the instruction book to put the thing together, and it's got little side notes in it. It's quite amazing. Has a lot of information in it. I would highly recommend, if anyone's interested in this, I'm sure you can find one of these on, you know, eBay or Craigslist. I'm not sure if they're in print anymore. If Testers was smart, they would put it back in print. That's my opinion. I think that people would dig it. Hi, Celestial Soul. How you doing? Great to see you all here. Free Range Brain, Rat X. So share this out if you will, if you can. Share it to your favorite social media platform. I did, but now I got to share it to my other page. I think I need to do that too. Yeah. So yeah, there was no big surprises. We certainly were not caught off guard with the nothing burger that was the almost disclosure. I mean, they had another chance to redeem themselves, but all they did was, you know, they nothing burgered it. They totally nothing burgered it. All right. Got the little message on there. Send that out onto my Truth Quest Facebook page. If you haven't checked that out, I post stuff there sometimes. And it's pretty cool. Pretty cool, pretty cool. All righty then. We got 8 likes so far. Thank you all. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for coming on here. Probably not going to be on too long tonight, but we'll see how it goes. Usually I lose track of time and we end up going longer. Oh, Trump's doing a town hall on Hannity right now. Oh, okay. All the Trump appearances lately. Yeah, well, you know, I think Trump's got some Trump cards up his sleeve. You know, Dan Bongino just launched a new monetary platform. It's called Align Pay. I think it's like kind of like PayPal. So it's a cancel-proof payment platform, because, as you know, a lot of the patriots are being deplatformed off of their payment platforms. And as long as, let's see, oops. There we go. Copy. And go back over here. And as long as mine are still working, here's my donation things, and there's always the super chat. But the super chat, they take 30% of it. So if you want your donation to go right to the show, either the PayPal or anyway, but the super chats are fun too. I love the super chats. And I appreciate anything, any little cup of coffee that I can get would be great. Is always very much, very grateful for it. Let's see. Hi, everyone. The contacts of the Galactic Federation family are close. Yeah, you think so? You got to take everything with a little grain of salt, I remember I was fooled by Nibiru when they said that was going to come, and it didn't come. And it's like, oh boy, am I going to fall for that again? So I'm a little bit jaded. And, I was a little, my hopes were up with this disclosure thing, I have to admit. But listen, Bob Lazar disclosed when he talked about the spaceship, the spacecraft that he worked on, the sport model, and well, I think we need to get a picture of the sport model up here. What do you think? The UFO that Bob Lazar worked on. We just had it up here. Well, actually, here's one, a Billy Meyer one that looks just like the one I saw, and just like the one that Bob Lazar worked on. So what do you think about that? Okay, trying to find it here. Not really finding it. Let me go back to, yes. You think the contact with the Galactic Federation of Family is close? Well, that's there's a lot of people saying a lot of things about a lot of different star beings and what star family are we from and everything else like that. But I have to think that there was some point where our souls, our immortal spiritual beings, weren't from any place. They were just from the everlasting now, something that's immortal. So whatever planet that, we feel like we're drawn, or star system we're drawn to, or, I don't, maybe at some past life we lived on those planets in different bodies. That could very well be. But the origination of our soul, I think, goes further back before anything was ever created. I believe that. That's what I'm running with. Yeah. So that's that UFO. And let's see what else we have here. La di da 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 da. Yeah. Okay. Here's some more, another page of that assembly booklet for the S4 UFO. And there's the little alien sits in a little seat. Because when Bob Lazar went inside this thing, because when he first saw it, the hangars opened up and there was like 9 different, hangars in the side of the mountain, built in the side of the mountain. So you have sand texture doors and everything, so you couldn't even tell. And when he saw the thing in there, he thought, oh, that's why people have been seeing these things. It's something we've been working on. He thought it was one of ours. But when he went inside of it and he saw how small the little chairs were, he thought, oh man, this is not for people. And that's when he realized it was alien. Not until that moment. And their job was to try to figure out how this thing worked. And they did. They figured out how it worked. Very fascinating. It's very simple. I mean, very few parts to this model kit. So if you want to make a model, it's pretty easy to do. And you can make it either clear or paint it. I made one clear and I painted one. I have 2 of them. But these arch things here, these things, Bob said that at some point, if you activated some panel or some, there's like little teeny panels here, not much, that one of these or a couple of them would go clear and you could see through them. So you wouldn't need windows. You could just make any one of these panels clear at any moment. You could see outside. Pretty cool. Pretty darn cool. Also, on the main floor, the middle floor, right over here was an access, a little access panel, like an octagon-shaped grid. And he said when you just touched it, it just moved away like magic. He said it was very mechanical, but very, very smooth and cool. He said there were no seams anywhere, no welding, no rivets, nothing. Like everything was made from one piece. Everything was rounded. The corners were all rounded. And it was just like that. That's what it was. Isn't that cool? See, this is disclosure when he's talking about all of these different elements of this craft. Incredible stuff, folks. And this was back, what, 1997? The year after I saw my UFO, 96? Because 97 was supposed to be the disclosure year, 1997. That was what that was going to be they were going to let out a little bit of information, but they had a change of heart, as they always do. And now Colonel Philip J. Corso, he was one of the guys in on this when they decided to make it secret until they could figure out what the heck who they are, what they're here for, what's the deal. So they kept it secret until they could figure this out, but they've figured it out, okay? According to Corey Good, we're trading with over 900 races of extraterrestrials, and the general public hasn't even been told anything. It just, they're keeping us in a flimsy paper bag. It does not take much to rip out of the flimsy, wet paper bag they have us in, trying to conceal the truth from us. All we need to do is talk to these whistleblowers, and we can find out right away what the truth is. Isn't that right? That's right. That is very much right. Yeah. So what do you folks think? Oh, Mud Rabbit. Hello, Mud Rabbit. How you doing today? And Terry, how you doing, Terry? Very cool. Peace. I'll just put a little peace message in there for everybody. And that's what we got there. Um, another thing that y'all might want to check into, and I've mentioned this before too, is capturing the light. It's this is a DVD. It's a movie, and it's by Frank Longo. It's about Dorothy Izat. Frank Longo. 30,000 feet of proof. She's got 30,000 feet of home movie footage. Dorothy Izat from 1974. There's the 70s again. 1974, she started having her sightings, and she started capturing it on film. And she's got 30,000 feet, of the beings in the craft. She's in the craft with them, their hands on the panels. Very awesome stuff. All on Super 8, yes. Hello, Aaron. All is well here. Hope the same on your end. All is well over here. I'm watching my son's dogs, and there's a male and a female, Finn and Daisy. Daisy's the girl, and Finn's the boy. And we've had some thunderstorms here. And Finn, he likes to go out and run outside and bark at the thunder. He thinks he's gonna. It's pretty funny. He's got a lot of exuberance for it too. He's really duty bound to do something about this booming in the sky. He's gonna bark it down. And I think it worked because the storm is over. He's doing a good job. Disappointed in the briefness of the US UFO disclosure. Yeah, 9 pages. Well, Congress got what, 70 some pages? If you ask Radix, he'll say 72 pages, but I think it was 74. I'm not sure. We'll have to find out. But hey, it's government by the people, for the people. If certain senators are given this information, what about the rest of us? And I here's the thing. So they got to 70 some odd pages of other stuff that they're not telling the people. And they're begging for more money. What are they going to do? They're going to beg for more money. They're going to get millions of dollars. And then they're just going to, about a year from now, they're going to release a couple more paragraphs from that same study, and maybe like 1 or 2 new ones. It's money laundering. It's pathetic. It doesn't cost that much to do something like this, It really doesn't. So everyone start your own show, do your own disclosure. We're all going to get this out. Andrew Pishago, yes. Mauricio, hello there. Yes, Andrew. Yes, and anyone who, I'm sure everyone here probably knows, we do a show. I moderate a show for Andy. He's got a show on my channel called The Quest for Truth with Andrew D. Pishago. And it's a 2-hour, usually 2+. A couple of shows were 2 hours, 22 minutes. It's like, wow. A couple of them were like that. So that's kind of cool. 2s. That's kind of nice to see. And it's not, but I'm not trying to do that, believe me. I have a hard time multitasking. So yeah. Think about questions you want Andy, want to ask Andy, and then call in on Sundays. Because we'd love to hear from you. The only thing is you might have to wait a while in the queue. Some people, they're waiting, and I'm waiting for the end of the previous subject so I can let someone new in. I have to tell Andy that there's someone new is coming in before I let him in. Otherwise, it's very disruptive. I've done that before. So just be patient and we'll get to you. We will get to you. And, it's interesting listening to Andy The revelations are just amazing, just absolutely fabulous. I mean, the kind of stuff that he's, making public. I mean, for 15 years, I mean, there's disclosure for you. Do you want to know what the military intelligence advanced technical community developed during the late 60s, 70s? And he's got it. He's got a good piece of it. And he speaks about it so eloquently. And if anyone doubts him, just listen to him for a while. Listen to the guy talk about all the detail that he puts in, all the witnesses that came forward. Some people have contacted him and said, Andy, I heard you on this radio show. I remember you when you were a kid and you came to our house and you guys were talking about the teleporter. I remember that. And so this really happened. And these, people are, I don't know how many people he's got, maybe a dozen people, witnesses or more. There keeps being more, it is by far the most credible case. And some people might wonder, well, why are they letting him why would they let him do this? Well, I think that they're letting him do it because, number one, they know he was going to be a whistleblower. He was going to be the whistleblower that ends up bringing this technology forward as president. At least that's what they saw in the chronovisor, or on the Montauk chair, when Andy saw subjective moments of his own future where he was president and he was declassifying Tesla, Bortle, teleportation. I mean, they would revolutionize shipping. Shipping would now be very, very affordable. I really don't think the weight of an item matters when you're shipping it via Bortle teleporter. I guess it's just how big of a shunter they're pushing it through. I mean, it has to go through at a certain speed, I believe. But yeah. All right. It looks like we're going to learn some new languages in the chat there. I need to learn new languages. I took a Japanese class once, and it's a very interesting language. It's exactly the opposite of the English language in every kind of way. I mean, we read left to right. They read up and down. We say Mr. Moriarity. They say Moriarty-san, Moriarty Mr. Everything's like a mirror, like a mirror to our language. And once I realized that, I started to understand it a lot better, and it came a lot quicker. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Konnichiwa. Konbanwa. I only know a few phrases. It was a long time ago. But yeah, I almost got to go to Japan. That's why I had to take those classes. And but haven't made it there yet. Haven't made it there yet. Oh, also I want to thank Greg Bornstein for having me on his show, Open Loops. So I was on Open Loops yesterday. So check it out. It's a podcast. Check it out. And he's got a dynamite show. Talks to very interesting people. He's even had Andrew Bashago on, and he talks to very interesting people. And so I was very pleasantly surprised that he wanted to have me on too. So that was a fun thing. So if you're curious, you like podcasts, Open Loops. And an open loop is I'll tell you what an open loop is, and I'll in a little bit I'll let you know what that is. That is actually an open loop. I just closed it. Okay, it's something that's unfinished. So an open loop. And some of us have lots of open loops. I think that the UFO field has a lot of open loops in it that need to be closed off and verified and validated. Okay, my dad and ex are Lebanese. They write from right to left. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. It's weird how Japanese goes from top to bottom. It's weird. It's weird. But, you know, I do love their language, though, written. It's much like the Chinese language. They're like little pictograms, little pictures. They're really kind of cool. It's fun to draw. You know, I had like a brush pen, and I learned to write like that, too. It's very elegant, a cool way to write in Japanese. And Chinese, too. I haven't written in Chinese, but it's very similar. They have actually, I think the Japanese have two different alphabets. One is closer to China's alphabet, and one is closer to, is like its own thing. I can't remember what they're called. It's been so many years. That's cool, some Lebanese. I had a friend from Lebanon in school. Nasser Nakib. I wonder what he's up to now. But yeah, he came to our school. All righty then. Get out the map. Where do the language directions point to? Ah, I don't know. Interesting question. Where do they point to? No one has called in. You know what? I might call my friend. What's his name? Maxwell Smart. You might have heard him last time. Should I give him a call? I was supposed to text him, but you know, I'm not sure exactly how to do that if I haven't texted him before. I'll just touch it and it'll end up calling him anyway, I think. I don't know. Yeah, still struggling with the old cell phone. Where do the directions point to? So have you all seen UFOs? Have you seen a UFO? I know I've seen one in 96 and two several years later. I'll have to calculate exactly what year that was. When two silently were overhead at night, a red light and a white light, and they were moving completely silently across the sky, very smooth. And then the bottom light reached the top light and it pulsed on. It continued on, and we got some pictures of it. Pretty amazing. And when I blew up the picture, it wasn't just a single light, it was like a cluster of lights. Both lights were like these mega clusters. Mud Rabbit. You know, I've never seen a UFO myself. Oh, you haven't seen one? Well, if you look outside, you can see them. You know, one way to see things that normally you would not be able to see is the solar obliteration technique. And that is where you go out in the daytime and you position yourself or your camera to where the sun is right behind something, like right behind a telephone pole or right behind your house or right behind something. And then position it so that you're not seeing the sun, but just the glare of it you're seeing. And then you'll see all kinds of little things shooting in and out. Some of that's cottonwood, some of it's insects, some of it might be birds, but other things could be other things. I mean, it's one way to get some interesting footage to look at. So try that. I know I did it out here in Sturgeon Bay years ago. Got some amazing looking things, but you don't know really what it is, but it is fun to look at. Very fun to look at. Okay, Mud Rabbit says, I live just south of an airport, so I probably would not notice one if it was up there. Yeah, that's the thing. If you don't look up, you're not going to see it, right? Sometimes a lot of experiencers will report that they hear a ringing in their ear, like a buzzing, like a high-pitched sound in their ear, and other people might not hear it. And then that person goes outside or is drawn to go outside, and then they have a sighting. So if your ears are ringing, go outside and take a look. Bring your camera. Bring a couple cameras in case one of them breaks. Free Range Brain says, in LA, I used to see tiny white orbs floating at very high altitude, completely still during broad daylight. Okay. Yeah. There are things up there. And if you go out at night too, friends, if you just go out at night, I just look up in the sky. I just look straight up and just look in one spot for a while, and you'll see something. There is things. I mean, some of them are satellites, and you can get on your phone. You can get some kind of apps or something like that, so you can see which ones are planets, which ones are satellites. If you see lights in a string going, that's probably this Elon Musk's Starlink, which some people are thinking maybe that will carry Trump's new social media platform and can't be canceled because it's coming from a satellite. Also, I think Trump might be coming out with his own bank like Dan Bongino did. MAGA Bank. Wouldn't that be cool? I bet you get more interest than the normal banks. I think would be an interesting idea is a bank lotto account. So, I think it's good for people to save money, and there's no incentive to save. But if you had like a lotto savings account at your bank, at a bank, and let's say you get a ticket every month or every 2 months for every $1,000 you have in, or something like that. So the more money you have in, the more tickets you get, and a very small portion of the interest that you would normally get in a normal savings account would go towards the kitty in everyone's account. So that is the way that the kitty is fattened up. And maybe you could also pay money to buy tickets, and that way the bank could make money that way. I don't know if that would be legal, but it's something I think might be some other reason to save money. Well, if I have a couple grand in there, I'll get a couple tickets every month, and maybe I'll win something. Maybe I should buy that. Oh, maybe I should save it. I could win the jack. I think it would help people save money. Okay, Free Range Brain says, I also had one UFO follow my flight from London to Madrid. It was not another plane. Wow. Interesting. Oh, and Mud Rabbit says, I've seen entities that I think are otherworldly, but I've never seen their ships. Oh, okay. You know, Dorothy Izat talks about, and not in this movie, but in a different interview, or an article I read about her. She said that these beings were coming to her, and they were like faces, like these faces, and they come and they were all upset. They were trapped. They normally live in space, but they're trapped down here. And they asked Dorothy how to get back into space. And this was years ago. And so she asked them, well, how did you get here? They said, well, we hitched a ride in the shuttlecraft. We rode in from space on the shuttlecraft. And she said, well, why don't you just ride back in the shuttlecraft like you did? And she never saw them again. So maybe these faces, I don't know if they'd technically be an orb, but they had faces and they were pleading with her. Very interesting. No, what's that? You know, it reminds me of something that Corey Goode talks about when he was in the secret space program, and he was on a research vessel, and they discovered plasma life forms in the high top clouds of Jupiter, living off the radiation in the top of the clouds of Jupiter. And these were alive plasma life forms. Okay, so maybe those faces were like that same type of creature that lives around here in our, edge of the atmosphere or in space. Very bizarre. Very bizarre. We know so little about the mysteries of the world, of the worlds, of the universe. For goodness sakes, we haven't even explored all of our oceans yet. And we think we're so advanced. We're not that advanced. We haven't even explored the land that good. And there's not that many of us compared to how much land there is. And we've only developed the areas we've built roads through. So there's a lot of unexplored territory. Yeah, I used to live in Rhode Island. And Rhode Island is like the smallest state in the Union. It's like 27 miles by 50 some miles, something like that. But it's 65% unexplored. 65%. So, we're not we're not anywhere near overpopulation, so never worry about that. We're an interstellar tourist destination. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like we are. And Corey Goode talks about how there's a portal near our sun. That's why we get lots of, cool extraterrestrial beings coming around. One of my favorite stories that Corey Goode tells was where he was at one of these Super Federation meetings with all these different aliens, walking around. And he was talking to some other Earth people. And they were commenting about these beings, especially this one woman with olive green skin. And they were kind of chuckling and saying, "Hey, she looks kind of like Captain Kirk's girlfriend on Star Trek." And so they were kind of chuckling about that. And then she comes over, this woman with the beautiful green skin, and from some other star system. And she's at this meeting, and she said, "Oh, did one of you did one of you serve with Captain Kirk? And she was dead serious. So, you know, that's interesting, you know, because that also reminds me, and I've mentioned this before too. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, Free Range Brain says, I've never been able to differentiate any objects in the pictures of the Rainmakers of Saturn. Yeah, you know, that's a book someone wrote, you know, the Wing Makers, the Rainmakers of Saturn. Ring makers or rainmakers? The ring makers of Saturn? Yeah, I don't know, you know. That'd be a good question to ask Corey next time he's on, you know. Is there any truth to the, you know, the ring maker, these mechanical things that make the rings for Saturn? I don't think so, but it doesn't sound plausible to me. It does not sound plausible to me. No, it surely doesn't. Ring makers, yes, that's what I thought it was. Ring makers. Okay, this one still still gets me. And where did it go? This, of course, is the alien autopsy. Alien, one of the less fortunate passengers on board the Roswell craft, right? And I've said this before, I'll say it again. I believe that this is actually real. That footage, when it was released in the 1995 or so, I think that that was real footage. And they really made the case for it. They really, really made the case for it. It just has this creepy, was just alive feeling about it. Hey, Jake, how you doing? Glad to see you here. I'm glad you could make it. Welcome, welcome aboard. Very cool. Jake Waters. Watch his show. He did a show with Michael McIntosh. So watch those. And just to clear up a possible discrepancy, during the last show with Andy, he did call in, and I saw him in the queue. However, I was waiting until Andy was done talking, which sometimes is a long time, but that's good because he has a lot of very interesting things to say. And so I was just politely waiting until the end of the subject so I could let him in. And right when I was going to let him in, boom, he goes, if I had a nickel for every time that has happened, it's happened a lot. And people, I guess they're waiting and waiting. They figure, well, I'm not going to get in. And sometimes I'll even put in the chat, hey, you're next, just to let them know, you know, I'm kind of waiting for an opening too. But yeah, so I was not trying to not let him in. He just gave up too soon. If he would have been there 1 second longer, but I think those two, I think they have had a kind of a rocky start in their other times they talk to each other. So I don't know, you know. Yeah, yeah, Jake. You know, it wasn't backed up. There was hardly anybody in. I mean, like he was like one of the only ones in there. But you know, right when I went to go click on him, it went missing. And that happened with someone else earlier too, and I can't remember that person's name. Sometimes I just don't. I don't write that name down, so I don't remember who the first person was. But you know, I try to you know be as fair as I can, but sometimes I can't get to everybody, especially if they leave too quick. So no worries. Yeah, yeah. I still have lots of questions for Andy. I'm trying to hold back so I can let other people ask. But yeah, it's so fascinating. You know, in one of the last few shows that we did, he talked about a paperwork teleporter that worked from Santa Fe, New Mexico to Washington, D.C. So in Washington, D.C., they'd have a machine. He said it was about the size of a microwave. This was in the early 70s. And he put the paperwork in that box in DC and they close it like typed paperwork, typed file paperwork. And they hit the send button. And then they open up another box, Santa Fe, New Mexico, and pull out those papers that were teleported from. Now, this was before faxes, and they had actually, they could teleport the actual paper before they could do faxes. Yeah, so I think that's a real alien. Flesh body alien, unlike the pilot, the engineer pilot of the craft, who was in a doll body and was unscathed, survived the crash. However, the other two were flesh beings and they perished. They were of lower rank, so they had a flesh body. Yeah, well, they could just fax it. I suppose they could free range brain, but this way, you know, no one could intercept it, right? Because it was their own little thing. Um, and you know, the teleportation seemed to be always from New Jersey to Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I think he said there was like a bump off point in Ohio, if I'm remembering correctly, where if it failed, they land in Ohio somewhere at a predestined spot. Hey, Dr. Quest. Hi, Dennison. How you doing? Yeah. So they had this magical paper teleporting machine back in the early 70s. Crazy. What else did we do? What else did we invent that we haven't heard about and we haven't been able to advance our civilization uh, due to the miraculous things that were discovered by people but then kept secret from everybody? You know, like Dr. Sterling Colgate of the Colgate Company. He was a physicist. He worked at the nuclear lab, and he created the plasma confinement time travel device that they used in the Project Pegasus, and that's what sent Andy back to Gettysburg. So you know, Dr. Colgate's family should be able to say, "Hey, our dad helped to invent time travel," but they can't do that because it's secret, and it's just a shame. Think about being like a renowned scientist or physicist. You come up with this stuff working on a black budget program, but then you never get credit for it publicly. And the public, the society doesn't advance from it like it should. You know, that's why things feel so off, because we can feel something's not right. And we're starting to find out. So that's good. Okay, Free Range Brain says, I love how Andy talks about how they hided nuclear secrets from Russia in the past. Oh yeah, I think I vaguely remember that. Interesting. Yeah, you hear so much, and that's why it's good to get the chronovisor out, because with the chronovisor out, we can test all this stuff and find out the real truth, the actual truth, because the chronovisor sees, the past of this timeline, the whole past. Here's another picture of that alien autopsy. I'm not going to show the gory pictures where things are all cut. I don't think that's a good thing to do. So, yeah, it's pretty creepy looking, isn't it? Pretty creepy looking. Okay. I would have to say so, yeah. Very creepy looking. But it has that feel of recently being alive. And it had 6 fingers and 6 toes. If someone was going to fake this, they would not have made it with 6 fingers and 6 toes. That would not have been what they would do. There's most of the accounts of the gray aliens have said they have 4 fingers. 4, not 5, not 6, 4. Oh, let's see. I got something in the way there. Let's see if I can move that. Get rid of that. There. How's that? Is that better? Get this back over here. Yeah, there it is. Look at that thing. It's crazy. It does look like it's something, though. It does not look fake to me. It looks very real. And the other thing is, if it was faked, wouldn't they try to make it look more like the actual aliens that people said they saw? This doesn't look anything like any alien anyone ever saw. It's completely different. It's got a few slight similarities, but it's got 6 fingers, 6 toes. It's got a much more human looking face, even though it does have the black covers over the eyes. But it's not as bulbous of a head as what's normally depicted. So, yeah. And it was battle damaged, that leg. It's if you watch the video, I mean, it's filmed on film from 1947. It looks like Joe, that was makeup. Yeah, looks better than Joe's ever looked, actually. Creepy Joe. Yeah, yeah. It's well, it's so nice to see Trump at the border today, talking to all the people. It's not like he didn't show these other people how to do all this stuff. He showed them how to do it. They're just not doing it. They don't want to do it. Oh man. Trump. You know, every politician should have made notes about everything Trump was doing, because that's a formula for success. You do things for the people will vote you in. It's not rocket science, people. Besides, is it pregnant or just a large pelvis? You know, we don't know. It was a silent movie. They did cut it up and they took things out of the chest cavity there. Hi, Jerry. How you doing? Glad to see you here, everybody. SS Mega Mofo. Hey, that's a cool name. MAGA. Yeah, I'm hoping that Trump does the MAGA bank. Wouldn't that be something? All the patriots would take their money out of, you know, all of these, you know, corrupt banks. Wouldn't it be nice to have a MAGA bank? A MAGA card? MAGA account? Wouldn't that be cool? I think it'd be great. You know, he's on Rumble now. And I got a screenshot of his Rumble account. Let me see if I can find that. It's pretty cool. Oh, is that it right there? Let me see. Oh, okay. Well, that's one of them. All right, where's the other one? I got two pictures from his website and are from his Rumble account. I can't find the other one. Maybe I'll have to just show that one. Yeah. I'll just show this one and tell you what the other one is. I'll find it eventually someday. All righty then. He should come up with some kind of electronic currency, Trump coin. Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? He could do it all at once. It'd be fantastic. All right, check this out. Oh, can you see that? Look at that, 610,000. Now it's up over 2 million or 3 million. But when I first saw that he popped up, someone shared it on Facebook. I saw it, his Rumble account, this one video, and I clicked on it right away. I went right to Rumble and I took a screenshot of it where it only had 2 views. So somewhere I have this same screenshot and it has only 2 views on it. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, he's doing really good. Rumble. Rumble. You know, Brian Setzer has a new song called album called "Gotta Have the Rumble." So that's interesting. And he talks about how he's had this ringing in his ears, and he misses playing guitar through the big amp because it would make the guitar rumble. He missed the rumble. Got to have the rumble, like it's vibrating so hard. So I thought that was kind of cool. You got Rumble. Everyone's got Rumble accounts. I have a Rumble account too. you know what? I'm going to share it in the chat here. Okay. And I got 12 or 13 subscribers. So, and what I'm doing is I got 13 subscribers. So, all right, here's my Rumble. I'll put it in here. Okay. So if you want to sign up, what I'm doing is I'm loading in like a couple shows a day, 2 or 3 shows a day of my old shows, and we're building up to the present. I haven't gotten to the present yet, but so it's a nice way to look at some of the old shows. A lot of good information on those old shows too. Oh, Dennison, funny, I just went to your account. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. I'll show you what it looks like. I'll take a little screenshot of it here. And you can see what it looks like. There we go. Give it a click. It did. Okay, now I got it up there. And now you'll be able to see it. So do the old screen share a Rooney. There we go. That's my Truth Quest with Aaron Moriarty over on Rumble. And 13 subscribers. Yay. 44 Rumbles. Pretty good. Pretty good. And so they're all there. All the episodes. Up to number 20. Okay, and 21, you're not going to want to miss that one. I might put that on later tonight or tomorrow. And that is, of course, you can always see it on my YouTube channel, but that's my first interview with Corey Good. So that was my first interview on Truth Quest. So Corey Good, that's coming up. The very next one I upload will be that. And all the Queppy shows are on there, the 5 Queppy shows. If you like puppets, you'll love Queppy. And, you know, here is Skinny Bob. This is a real alien. Bernie Mendez verifies that, yes, this is Skinny Bob. This footage was released by Russians, apparently. And it's real footage, according to Bernie Mendez. He knows him. He says he's a great guy, super nice guy. In fact, he's such a nice guy that he's the only extraterrestrial who's allowed to come and go as he pleases. Okay? So now this is more of the gray type of a look that you'd sculpt something at if you're going to fake an autopsy. And these are ships designed by William Tompkins. And this is what William Tompkins saw on the moon. And this is what the astronauts saw when they landed on the moon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 giant ships on the edge of the crater watching them. And they denied that epic event that would have changed human history forever. We would have been galactic. And I think you would have seen a society really, really step up to the plate. And it would have been a watershed moment. It would have been awesome, but we can have that now because we know what that looks like. And we've had the ham radio operators recordings of that, what happened. It's like, sir, they're huge. These things are gigantic. They're on the edge of the crater watching us. We know. Turn the camera away. Don't talk about it. Stop pointing the camera at them. And that's the 2 minutes that we're missing, the audio and the visual. We had the audio thanks to the ham radio operators. It was all unencrypted. After that, Apollo 11, they began encrypting all of the transmissions so they couldn't be easily picked up by ham radio operators. But that's what was seen. So that's really cool. So yeah. Cool as a moose. That's what they say. Cool as a moose. Wouldn't you think? I would think so. So there you go. Hello, Rose. Apollo was not fake. No. I take issue with that, M. Rose. I know that there are certain pictures that yes, they were taken not on the moon, but those were taken at Kubrick's studio just in case the cameras didn't work on the moon, because they did not want to have this grand achievement and not have visual record of it. So they were very nervous that these cameras were not going to work on the moon. You know, maybe they get damaged in takeoff, or maybe, you know, radiation would kill the film in them or something, or however they were transmitting it. But they just had to have that backup. And when they got to the moon, the cameras ended up working. But when they went to release the pictures to the press, they went, oh, all these ones by the astronauts suck because they're not photographers. Ooh, look at these gleaming ones over here. So they ended up using a lot of the Kubrick footage, or the footage and the pictures, for the official NASA things. Oh, Carrie Swearingen. Hi, Carrie. I'll have to go make a Rumble account now, Aaron. All right. Yeah, Rumble's a cool place. There's lots of cool people there. It's a fun thing. And Dan Bongino's part of that. So that's kind of cool. Is that Rose 777? Oh, M Rose. M Rose. Yeah. I don't know. Film studio. Yeah, the pictures. Now there's somewhere, and I haven't been able to find this recently, but I did see this video. It was many years later, and they were asking Kissinger and what was his name? All of the people from Nixon's cabinet, because Nixon wanted there to be photographs of this event, you know, no matter what. So they decided to do that, and they had to talk him into taking the pictures. He wasn't going to do it at first. Yeah. Okay. Jerry makes a good point here. Well, let's go back over here to M. Rose. I appreciate your opinion. I believe all Apollo footage is terrestrial. I do believe we went to the moon. I do believe we went to the moon. You believe all Apollo footage is terrestrial, and then you say, I do believe we went to the moon. Or do you mean we did not go? I'm not understanding that. Yeah, I guess I'll have to get it again and show you all again. I think I did this before, but you know, it's really easy to think that everything is a lie, because they've lied to us about so many things. But this is something that they actually did. They actually made it to the moon. And somewhere here, I have pictures of all of the landing sites. Where did it go? Not finding it. Now, landing. I'll try landing. Yeah, you can see all of the landing sites, all of the Apollo landing sites, you can see them from a telescope. So you can actually see, you know, the moon rovers tracks. You can see it. So there's no way, you know, there's no way that anyone can say that we didn't make it there. And for some reason, I cannot find. Try one more time here. Yeah, I don't see it. Interesting, huh? Interdasting. Yeah. Wow. Wild. Okay. We'll go and do this. All right. I got a bigger picture of this to show y'all. So there it is. And this is what William Tompkins saw, because he was in an underground observation room, much smaller than the main one that he designed. He designed all of the stuff, actually. But yeah, hundreds of ham radio operators were able to hear the actual live, uncensored audio feed between NASA and the astronauts. So this audio recording has been made public, and you could hear it. You can look it up on the internet and you can hear it. It's remarkable. But you know, we never knew what they saw until the late great William Mills Tompkins did this little sketch, because he saw it. And I still think that if that would have been made public, when it should have been made public, when it was actually discovered, our taxpayer money paid for it. It's information that we need to know to advance our civilization, and not just the oligarchs and the people who hoard this information. It's for all people, not just for them. So that's what I think about it. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. All right. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But that's what they said, and that's what they saw. You can read it yourself. Okay. The moon rover tracks can't be faked, and the reflectors and lasers used to calculate precise distances also the crap, C-R-A-P. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. You know, everyone has a different opinion about these type of things. My personal opinion is we did go to the moon. And if you want to know how we did it, take a look at the book, read this book. Disclosure is in books, people. It's not going to be televised. It's only in books. So get this book. Well, William Mills Tompkins, Selected by Extraterrestrials. He was the guy that got us to the moon. All right. He was part of a secret think tank, and they were working from the early 60s to get this done, late 50s, early 60s. And he had to design the building that they made the rockets in. He had to redesign the way they made the rockets, because the way Wernher von Braun was making them, they were making them horizontal and then tipping them up, and then they would explode. And William just said, hey, why don't we build them vertically? You know, have an airtight, air-conditioned, climate-controlled environment, because there's computer components to this. Can't get dust and spiders and junk, because Florida's got like lots of spiders and stuff. So they had to build everything. And he also designed the computer checkout system that all of the 30,000 subcontractors who subcontracted different pieces of the Apollo program, all their pieces had to work together. So they had to hook everything up to this computer checkout system to make sure everything would work. And William Tompkins designed this computer checkout system. How did he design it? He was looking at, and you can find this all out in his book. And he was given instructions on how to do some of this stuff from his secretaries, who were the extraterrestrials, giving him pointers and tips on how to do this, how to make this happen. So we had help of the Nordic Navy. Nordic Navy officers, these women who were posing as secretaries, they were telepathically telling William how to design these things to make it work, and giving specific instructions so that we would make it to the moon. And it wasn't just to the moon. We were going to go to the moon, build a base, and then go out from there. And so that's what they did. It's just that they didn't tell us. And that's why we want full disclosure. Full disclosure. Good night, Dennison. Good night. Good night, buddy. Yes, Jerry, you're right. The actual feces of astronauts was left there. Yeah, there's like 85 pounds of human waste on the surface of the moon. That's why we got to go back there and clean it up, you know, catapult it to the sun or something. Yeah, we need to clean up after ourselves. Maybe next time we'll just send some fasting people. It won't make as much of a mess. Oh, you're talking about volume 1 or 2 from William Tompkins. I would get both of them, but the first one, volume 1, is the much thicker of the books. And the volume 2 has some new information, but there's a lot of repeat information in it as well. But it's worth getting. And I think they're working on a third one too. So yeah, volume 1 is a definite a needed thing. It should be a movie. It'd be a great, fantastic movie. And I showed this last time too, and I'm trying to get a hold of this gal to come on the show, Kim Carlsberg. She did this book, and it's just fabulous. It's The Art of Close Encounters. And it's art by the people who saw these things. So, oops, yeah, it's kind of a heavy book, but look at that. Okay, looks like it's a digital image, possibly, of that person's account. And then the other side is the writing that describes it. It's a beautifully done book. I highly recommend it if you want to get this. But look at that. Some very interesting artwork done by the people who saw the stuff. And Kim Carlsberg does a lot of this artwork in here too. Very cool. Yeah, so it's a great little book. Lots of art, lots of different accounts. And it's just a great, great book. And the back cover is kind of cool too. Look at that. Kind of two different kinds of hands, human hand and an alien hand touching. So that's a very cool book. Nice coffee table book. Litter bugs. Yes, we're litter bugs up there. We need to bury the cosmonauts who crashed on the far side of the moon. You know, give them a proper burial, either there on the moon or bring them back. And have you folks heard of Apollo 20? I talked about this a little bit on the Greg Bornstein show, Open Loops. Let me see if I can find these pictures. But yeah, it's a fabulous, interesting story William Rutledge tells. And I talk about this in some of my other episodes as well. Wait for that to come up. Well, no one's calling in today. That's okay. Well, maybe I should call, well, it's kind of late to call Maxwell now. Darn it, I should have done it earlier. Yes. Well, where is it now? Did it come up yet? Aha. Desktop. I got so much on my desktop. I got to clean my desktop off. I need like a digital maid. You know that? Wouldn't that be cool? Digital maid and a digital butler. I don't see the, let me check Apollo. Oh, look what I just found. Okay, we're gonna go and grab that. So here is the moon landings. And you can see these are all from a telescope. So you can see all these. See Apollo 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Of course, they're not counting Apollo 20, are they? Apollo 20. See, so you can see in this picture here, here's one of the lunar modules right here. Here's another one. Here's another one. You can see the tracks. See that? You know, very unnatural looking. Yeah, you think about the beautiful patterns that, you know, that allegedly are left by aliens with the crop circles, and you look at what we do. We like scribbling, you know, like a bad Etch-a-Sketch drawing, you know, and they got these beautiful, amazing designs that are mathematical messages, and here we are just going back and forth looking at rocks and not making a very good pattern. So yeah, maybe you should make good patterns, you know, instead of just these random, I don't know, make it more interesting. Oh, you know what? I just got texted, I am live. See if he comes up. That's Red Pill, our buddy Red Pill 78. He just texted me. So yeah. Yeah, there's all the landing sites. So that's that. Also, I've shown this before, but you know, this stuff is so amazing. It needs to be shown all the time. This is part of disclosure, showing everything over and over again till everybody knows about it. I don't know if you can see that, if it's too big or too small. Oh, he says, oops. No worries. Call in. Let's see if he calls in. Yeah, I don't text very much. I'm not much of a texter. So this is, I pulled this from NASA's website years ago, all right? And you can see here, it does not look like the surrounding area, all right? This looks like a ship, okay? And it's very large. It's like 3.5 miles long. It's gigantic. It's huge. So what is it? It's on the far side of the moon. It was photographed by Apollo 16 and maybe Apollo 15 too. And they've got like 3 or 4 different angles of it. And this number here is right from the NASA website. I took this from the NASA website years ago. I had to transfer it from my other computer because I went to the website, the NASA's website recently, and it's gone. Magically, it disappeared. But here's the number, the number right from that NASA website. This is a NASA picture, has not been doctored. This is the actual picture. And this looks like a derelict spacecraft or a large, some kind of train or some kind of vehicle or something. It definitely looks manufactured. It does not look like a rock. All right. And so they went in 1976. They did a secret mission called Apollo 20. And they researched this. They went there and they brought back some evidence and even a body of Mona Lisa, called her Mona Lisa. And see if I can find a picture of Mona Lisa. I just had a picture of her, and I don't know why it's not there, but it's not there. Debunked as a hoax. Oh, Jacob, you were in Wisconsin. That's where I live. That's cool. Whereabouts were you? I'm up here in Door County. So yeah, that's what that is. Let's see if I can get Apollo 20. There it is right there. Okay. All right. I just have to do a couple little things here. Get rid of this. Move that. Okay. And that's a video. Okay. Oh, there it is right there. It's already on here. Okay. All right. So they brought back this body of this woman, this extraterrestrial woman. And they named her Mona Lisa. Now she had these strange tubes connecting her eyes and her mouth, holding her mouth open. She's got like a waxy plastic coating over her skin and her hair, and her nostrils are plugged, but her mouth was held open by these things, and she's got something on her forehead, very odd. Doesn't show it in this picture, but this body was brought back. Now, there were 3 astronauts on this mission. William Rutledge, who released all this information, all the footage they released, including this picture here, and his girlfriend, who was a black woman. She sadly died on the mission. That's another reason why Rutledge was very upset. He wants her to get recognition for being in space. Sadly, that she passed away. But they brought this body back. Now that this alien body is very human looking. It's got bigger eyes. Was not dead and it wasn't alive. It was somewhere in between. And there were even little teeny beings inside her, keeping her from dying all the way, keeping her kind of going. Very strange. And William Rutledge was upset because he was not invited to the White House because oops, what's that doing there? Yeah, very interesting. And if you want to know how big that ship was, here is they took footage from Rutledge's mission and they put it amongst things here on Earth to show you scale, how extremely large this thing is. And now you can see what it looks like a close up. It's got, pit marks in it from millions of years being hit by little meteorites, mini asteroids or whatever on the surface of the moon there. But it looks like it's in fairly good shape. It's gigantic. It's huge, as you can see. But yeah, that's something there on the far side of the moon. And we should know that. And William Rutledge should get credit for walking on the moon, as well as the cosmonaut who also was on the moon in that mission. He was a famous cosmonaut, Lenved. I can't remember how you pronounce his name, but he was in the Apollo-Soyuz mission. So he's very well-known cosmonaut. So if William Rutledge was faking this, he would have had to built the inside of a lunar command module, and he would have had to have done all these things. I mean, he never made any money on this. It's ridiculous to think that it was faked. It's not faked. I'm looking at the messages here. Beloit. Yeah, not surprising they scrubbed it, huh, Carrie? That's right. That is right. Look at that ship. That's incredible. Unbelievable, folks. Absolutely unbelievable. But believable. Don't you think? Oh, yeah. I think so. And let's see if I can find that one more picture of that thing. I hope you're all having a good time where you all are out in the world there. And I hope that we all, you know, one thing we can do to help disclosure is to talk to our representatives and really get on their case. We want to know this stuff is important. We need to know. We need to know this stuff. It's very, very important. Very important indeed. Yes. All right. Well, friends, anyone have any questions? Any comments about what we've been not seeing released to the public? We need that 70 some odd pages that was given to certain senators or Congress people. We need to see that stuff. Maybe the Anons can, you know, figure out how to get that information to the people. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, save them and yeah, well, that's a good idea, Carrie. Flash drives. Yeah, flash drives. Oh, it looks like Jake Waters is from the Russian space station. Don't touch anything. Maybe that was part of a different conversation I'm missing. That's the problem with not keeping up with all the chat. You get half stories, right? Let's see. Talked about all that. Okay. All right, friends. You know what? I think we're going to say goodnight. Wait a minute. Starting to agree with Andy, we're never going to get real disclosure. Yeah, real disclosure is already here. It's been happening, boy, forever. As long as people are telling each other what they saw, that's disclosure. You know, I've recounted my sightings and things I've seen that are unexplainable by what they say we really have or don't have. Yeah, Joe Biden will tell us the truth. Yeah, really. Bo Jiden, I don't think that he knows much. There's not much that he actually knows. I think that he can still tell the difference between chocolate and vanilla ice cream, and that's pretty much about it. And that's a large achievement for him, believe me. That's my opinion. Yeah, it sure was nice seeing Trump at a rally, looking all presidential and meeting with the border people today. Wow, that was fantastic. You know what? I thought I had a picture of that too. Did I? Okay, that would be. I don't know where my pictures are going to that I take, but they're not showing up for some reason. Oh well, so swell. I don't know. What's the dang deal here? Oh, I think, oh, nope, that's not it. So, no, I'm not finding it. I wonder what happened to it. Oh, that's interesting. I took a screenshot of it and it kind of went away. I don't know where it went. Yeah. Well, here's something I was looking for before and couldn't find. So I guess we'll take a look at that. There's some more pictures of the Mona Lisa and some strange writing that they found on the craft. Now, I believe that they found this body and the head of another alien. They never showed that in the footage. But I believe they found this woman, this extraterrestrial woman, in a triangle craft, which was much smaller than the 3 mile long craft. It was nearby it. So, you know, I don't think that they had enough time to explore that whole 3 mile long craft. I'm sure they only were able to just see a very small portion of it with their limited mission and their limited amount of oxygen and everything else that they had to bring with them there. But yeah, there's the writing of the people. And in the background here, you can see the lunar command module, the interior of it. You can see the little bump on her forehead. That, curiously, some of the people in the inner Earth that Corey has found or talked to or noticed, they actually put a crystal under their skin, and it's part of their thing that they do. That's part of their identity or part of their religion or whatever. So that's very interesting, this Mona Lisa. Now, be careful what you find out on the intranet, because I did some searching today and I found someone posted a picture that looked a lot like this, and it said Mona Lisa Autopsy. Well, it was definitely a model. Now, this looks like a real being, but there's another video out there which purports to be the same woman. However, you can tell it's different, and it's a sculpture, and you can tell. This has a realness to it, has a feel of real to it, whereas the other one doesn't. So it's a good lesson in discernment to look at these other fake things and notice the differences, so you can kind of spot these phony things a mile away. But yeah, I wonder if they've been able to revive this woman, because they've had her, since 1976 when they brought her back. Although splashing down might have damaged the body. I mean, I don't know how they could have. I suppose they could have put her in a spacesuit. I'm not sure. Maybe we have to talk to William Rutledge and get a hold of him. It would be kind of cool. It would be kind of cool, don't you think? Yes, I think. Oh yeah, okay. So Jake Water says, I wonder why there's some pictures she's got apparatus on her face and others where she does not. Um, yeah, that's because it had those on her face at first, and is that if you watch the whole video, it shows them taking the pieces off. But there's a fake footage out there that it's so fake, and the way that you can tell the fake footage is the person who's trying to take these things off of the face. They're trying to duplicate what this other footage is, and you can tell it's fake, which makes the other one look more real. But you'll notice in this fake footage, there's a glove, like a space glove, but it's all really old and tattered. It wouldn't be that way. It would be a pristine, fresh looking glove. So, you know, another reason to point out that that is a phony. This is real stuff I'm showing you here. So, so Carrie says, I agree, Aaron. I studied the photo up close. Looks real, just different. We know there are many ETs out there that look very similar to us, just slightly different. Yeah, it's kind of nice to have some of our galactic cousins looking like us. You know, that extraterrestrial woman might actually be from a previous Earth civilization, maybe Lemuria or Atlantis. You know, might have been a human from Earth. She sure looks very Earth-like. And there's the inner Earth beings with that bump on their head. It looks very similar to that. So, you know, a lot of the inner Earth people, they were formerly living on the surface, but their elite and their priest class all went underground when cataclysms happened. So that's why they survived. Oh yeah, the stasis giants. Yeah, those are great. I believe Aaron has seen a model or two, and he would know Mattel could make it better. Yeah, I've worked with amazing sculptors at Hasbro and Tonka and Jerry Benicasso at Tonka and lots of really good sculptors at Hasbro, and even at some of the invention firms I worked at, some great sculptors. But yeah, you can't sculpt something to look like it was alive or recently alive. It's very almost impossible to do. Almost impossible. Well, friends, it's getting late, and I just wanted to jump on because I haven't done a show since this phony baloney disclosure thing that didn't happen. But our elected officials have a much more in-depth report, and we should be clamoring for that. And anything else that happened in the past that we're curious about, that we know about from whistleblowers, from all of the thousands and thousands and thousands of cases. So thank you everybody for coming and for looking at my Rumble account, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate everybody here, and I hope that you all have a great evening. I have to go let one of the dogs in and one of the dogs out, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Let me check the queue, make sure nobody's there. All right, I'm just going to say goodbye. Thanks again, friends. Peace in.